Is there any question at this time? Hello? Does anybody have any question?
No questions.
No, not yet.
All right.
No questions.
All right. So you're all here, and like I said, we have some solar street lights. Just a brief history. So these solar street lights were installed back in 2000 and around 2013, right? But then it was a different type of technology. The type of solar street light that we have installed right now is the Kamahan, right? The EG 320. You can always look online and get some more specification for this particular solar street light. All right. Any questions? You can stop me at any time for any sort of clarification. All right. So I'll just like to show you a virtual map of Cove. All right, let me share my screen and tell me when you can see my screen. Alicia, where do we go to share screen again?
You would see our upward pointing arrow next to the microphone there.
Yes, all right, thanks. So just tell me when you see my screen. Everybody see my screen?
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to
No,
join now.
I'm not seeing it, Larry.
No.
Yeah, join already. Check out the same online. Yeah.
Have you seen it now? Have you seen my screen?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing it. Yes.
Yes,
All
we're
right.
seeing it now.
Right.
Yes, you see that now.
So this is Cove right here. All right. Do you see the arrow moving around? All right. I'm going to zoom in.
Yes.
Yes, I'll keep coming in. All right. So you seen it, right? All right. So this is where I'm at right now. This building right here. This is a factory shell 1, factory shell 2. These are our multi-producer units. This is the entrance right here. Just now, keep joining late. Keep admitting them inside. All right. Alicia, could you just admit them in for me, please? Switching between the screens is kind of difficult. All right. So along the road here, these here are some of the solar street lights. All right. You can probably get a better view if I do 3D. All right. So these here are some of the solar street lights. All right. And like I said, the model was the EG320. All right. Any questions?
No, not yet.
All right. All right, let me come on from this. So this is where we are at Cove Industrial Estate, right? So everybody have their the RFP document that should have been given. That was only package requirement. So everybody have their package document with them right now, right? I'm assuming here.
No, we don't.
All right. So again, let me share. So you're seeing on the screen right now?
Sure. Yeah.
See my screen?
Yes.
Right. So this is the name of the tender right now. It is called Retrofitting and Maintenance of the Solar Street Lights in Cove Tobago.
Right.
All right. I can skip this part here. So we're here today. All right. So this is the item where we're at. This is your deadline.
Right.
For questions and deadline for submission. And I must say to everyone that all questions must be directed through Mrs. Kalisha Mills. She's our procurement officer. All right.
Good.
as it says here. So send all the questions via, and her email is listed there, right? And
Okay.
contact. So this just gives a brief summary of what the company is, and you can read it at any time, right?
Right.
Because this will, like I said, is part of the package, right? So this is a statement of work. So so there are three things, right? So at the situation right now, we have 80 solar street lights, and more than 70% of the lights are not working. All right.
Right.
All right, so that's the first thing. So we now require to acquire and install about 60 retrofit kits for the existing non-functional solar street lights at Cove Tobago. All right. We also require to provide additional retrofit kits as required to support a system of 80 solar street lamps. And you also require to maintain 80 solar powered street lamps within the same location for a period of 1 year. All right. And what we're asking for is a fixed price contract, all right, which means that there will be no variation in the price that you've been offering. Even if you're successful, there would not be no price increase or anything like that. So we need to state that early up front. It's a fixed price contract. All right, and it's important that I state this early on so that everybody understands. All right. Any questions?
Can you specify?
I have a question
No.
with regards to the retrofit kits for the existing non-functional solar lights. Point one of the statement of work. The EG320 is recognized as a tier 1 solar street light, which means that the current solar street lights in the market are with the new different technology. So
Yes,
you
they're
guys
more
are looking
modular.
for retrofit kits for the non-functional. You may not get retrofit kits exactly to match the EG320, but we have compatible components that can make it functional again. Is that okay?
Right. Right. So I'm saying is that so in your proposal, see, this is like how you have that particular question. In your proposal, you state all your assumptions.
Okay.
Right. And that goes for everybody, right? Because like I said, you are the experts, and hence the reason why we're going outside to select somebody based on the expertise, the price, and the know-how. All right. Same way who you just listed that, please inform that, listen, based on this is and provide evidence of such, and therefore the direction that you're going to go is justified based on your assumption that is supported by evidence. Everybody understand?
Yes.
Should I? Huh?
Yes,
Understood.
Right. So this is very important, right? Fixed price contract. State all your assumptions and your justification for your recommendations. All right. All right, so let me just go back to this. All right. So in terms of the scope of work, right? The first one is I provide a retrofit kit with at least 3 years warranty on all components. All right. So which means that we're not going to accept any warranty on the 3 years. All right. 2, the retrofit unit provided must produce a luminance within this particular range in terms of its brightness. All right. Remember, these solar street lamps are it helps us protect our reputation and also help us reduce our risk management. It also provide a sense of safety to staff, visitors, and tenants at our location. So hence, brightness is important in terms of acting as a security deterrent. All right. The retrofit unit must sustain a steady luminance for at least 12 hours. All right. We don't want after 10 hours they go down. Right? After 9 hours, they go down, right? And this is important. Spare part for the retrofit units must be readily accessible and made available, right? All retrofit units must be brought to Cove Tobago, right? In conducting the changeout, existing non-functional units must be removed from the vertical metallic structure, which is about 20 feet high. So let me just share with you, a couple pictures so that at least you'll have a better understanding. Yeah, sorry for all these screens here. All right, these are some of the pictures that I took earlier. All right. Everybody seeing? So this is what the unit looks like right now. So you have the lights right here, the battery inside here, and the solar panel at the top. And the person who spoke earlier in terms of the technology changing, right now most components being offered. Kalisha, could you just, Kalisha is still there?
Yes, yes, I admitted them.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So this is the existing technology. So this is the EG320. Any questions?
Would you be providing a location to store the said retrofit units, and also when
Yes.
the old units are removed, where
Mhm.
are they being stored?
Right. So we will provide that information in terms of storage, in terms of the new units and the old one, right? Understood? Is it clear?
Yes.
Clear.
All right. So there's a better picture here. So again, you have the lights, the batteries stored inside here, and your solar panel. Right, this is one section along the park. This is another section here. Everybody seeing clearly, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so the fact that these things are up to 20 feet up in the air kind of give you an idea what sort of tools you'll need to do any sort of change out, any sort of maintenance service, right? And therefore, that will kind of guide you as to say, for example, how you should prepare your proposals and your recommendations. This part is also important, especially during the installation phase. We don't want, say, for example, you set it and forget it and then it doesn't work for us. We need that after you put it in place, that you monitor it for 30 days, all right? Because we don't want to buy cat in bag. We want to make sure that it's actually working. Right, in terms of the pricing structure, it's all written out here. They say 50% payment of the cost of each unit will be paid on contract signing. Another 40% of the cost of each retrofit until it would be made only for working lamps after the 30-day period and after 3 months, right? So you have, so the ratio there is 40, 50, 40, and 10, right? All right, and no, and see there's sort of spot error. Kalisha?
Yes,
Alicia?
yes. Hi.
Yes, so there may need to be a correction here. If you look at point 3, where it says maintain the AT lamps for 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
and it sort of conflict with this one here.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes, I see that. You're right. It's 1 year.
All right, so we need to take that into consideration. So what we'll do, we'll just confirm first, Kalisha, and then if there are any changes, we could always email them, see, for example, which is which after the
Yeah, I
meeting.
send the addendum.
Yeah, all right, so we'll probably look at that. All right.
Mhm.
Any questions so far? I hope that everybody's following.
Yeah, no questions.
All right. Again, these are just the standard stuff in terms of what is required from our side, because you are going above 6 feet according to the OSH Act and so on. You're required to wear proper harnesses, proper safety practices. You're supposed to have your requisite insurance, say for example, public liability insurance and workmen compensation insurance. These are very important. The reason why why we require this, because even though we're engaging you for a particular service, we also have to minimize our level of risk exposure, and having the insurance in place gives us some level of protection. All right, hence the reason we ask you to take out your insurance, or if you have an existing insurance, that you utilize that. It minimizes our risk, because it's a business to business activity we are conducting, and we want to make sure at the end of the day, there's a win-win situation for both parties involved. Any questions about the insurance?
I have a question. You all have a list of approved insurers, or?
No, you could use whatever insurance, as long as, say, for example, you provide the certificate is a valid one.
No problem. Thanks.
Right? It's very important that the certificate is valid. Yeah, somebody else had a question? If not, let's continue. You are breaking up. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, the
Yes.
contract, the insurance should you get assurance before the contract is awarded or after the contract?
Say again?
The insurance is required before the contract is awarded or after the contract is awarded?
No, normally, because it's part of the document that is submitted. So you must submit a valid insurance for consideration during the evaluation process. And all of this is listed under the, as we go through, when we come to that part, you'll see in terms of the requirements that you must submit.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Right, so they say on a quarterly basis, the contractor shall provide labor, material, and equipment to maintain the OLS, right? And these are some of the activities that you will go. Again, it depends on the technology that's available, because say, for example, if it's an LED light, a ballast may not necessarily be required, or based on the existing technology, fuses, photocells may be quite different, right? But I know with LED, you don't necessarily need to have a balance or voltage regulator, because it's a small current going across the connecting junctions, all right? So again, this is general. Again, they sort of provide an idea of what needs to be done, but then in terms of how specific it's supposed to be, it will depend on the technology that you are recommending. All right. Any questions? All right. Again, sometimes it's a dusty place, or sometimes you may need to clean, the outside surface, because it will affect, say, for example, the brightness and so on. So we just want to make sure that regular maintenance is performed that will allow the lights to perform in a way that gives us a certain level of satisfaction, because again, all this is tied back to what we are promising our tenants, right? And it's about their satisfaction, their safety, and whoever is successful, that is kind of relationship that we try to give, and that we try to cultivate, and it doesn't only extend to our tenants, but whoever is successful, that's the kind of relationship we're going to promote with our service provider. Again, these are some of the stuff, and therefore you can read. Again, this kind of highlight what I mentioned earlier, it's a fixed price contract. All right. Again, some of the statements here, this is just like I said, just a very generic one. As whoever is successful, a little bit more detail will be placed inside the contract. And remember as well too, it's a case where we negotiate, right? Because like I said, we're trying to create a win-win situation, but the price of the contract stays as is because it's a fixed price.
It's
All right.
so the price stays as is within the first year only.
Right. No, like I said, okay,
what you have
no,
here.
when you, like I said, you see the one that says the 1 year and the 5 and the 1 and 5. Like I said, just for clarity purposes, we'll confirm that, and Kalisha will provide the correct information by tomorrow for the latest.
In reference with this, any reference to the price issue as well?
Well, the one with the price issue in terms of the fixed price, like say, for example, we're saying that this is a fixed price only on certain conditions, which we'll put in our contract, right? Then we'll put down, but as it is right now, this is for a fixed price. It's a fixed price contract.
US dollars will be paid for this project?
Second?
US dollars will be paid for this project?
No, what we're saying is that your prices must be in TT because this is the country in which the contract is being executed. Even though, say, for example, you may have a relationship with somebody outside, right? Whatever arrangement that is, you may do it in US dollars, but say, for example, the contract must be written in TT dollars.
Okay. And if the awarded contractor is to request a certain percentage in US currency, will your firm be able to pay that percentage in US currency?
Right. Like I said, because we don't deal with foreign exchange, we only deal with TT dollars.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, we only deal with TT dollars. All right. All right.
Okay, go ahead, move along.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You could proceed.
Right. All right. So this just speaks about what the contractor is responsible for and so on. And I guess it's fairly straightforward reading. But if there are any questions while going through, say for example, that you need further clarity for, you can pass all questions to Mrs. Mills, and the answers will be returned via that same channel. All right. But like I said, these are fairly straightforward stuff that you can read. And if there are further stuff that you need clarity for, just address them to Mrs. Mills. All right. Like I said, pretty straightforward. Right, so let's look at this now. In terms of the submission of the proposal. Kalisha is still there? Kalisha?
Yes, I'm here, Larry.
Right, so just give them a brief synopsis in terms of our host of the e-platform.
Okay, well, they are. I would send that out as well. An instruction manual on how to go about submitting your bid. I would send an email out with the manual for everyone. I believe it should be on the platform as well, but I'll send one as a backup. So it will go through all of these steps for you, how you must upload your documents. Some of the key challenges persons face are uploading documents that are not in full PDF, and also the naming convention in your PDF document, it must not have any special characters at all. So just only put words if you can. Don't put any full stop, hyphen, dash, comma, anything. When you are uploading your documents, make sure it is just a straight name and no special character. So that is the main challenge that most persons have when it's time to upload. All right, any other challenges you have, you could also email me at procure.officer@e-idcot.co.tt. It's on the document. And as much as possible, I would send a, I wonder if I still have that link for what we have done to explain a YouTube video to explain the process as well. All right, so as much as possible, try to upload your documents not at the last moment, because that is when a lot of things can happen, and a lot of last minute calls, right? So try to upload your documents, even if it is the morning, a few hours before the end of the closing at 3 o'clock, because we will not be able to give any extensions on this. All right, so I'm pleading, try to get all of your documents before a few hours before the closing of the tender. All right, as seeing here that we have that the 14th of October. All right, if you have any challenges, feel free to email us and we would try to assist as best as we can.
All right.
And if you have any questions.
Right. Any questions for Kalisha this time? All right. One of the main advantage, I should say, in terms of using the e-tender platform is that you don't need to come to Tobago to drop off everything. You can do it from anywhere in the world as long as you have access to the website, and you have your documents in a digital format that is compatible with the application. That's all you need. And as Kalisha said, you try to get all your documents way in advance before the deadline. All right. And like I said, normally we use a 2-envelope system. What that means is that the technical proposal part of it is separated from the financial proposal. And how this normally works is that for all the submissions, they are evaluated according to the criteria. And when it comes to the criteria, we'll talk a little bit about that. But so all the technical proposals are evaluated. To advance to the stage where we can evaluate your financial proposal, you must get at least 70% of the total marks that are located to the technical proposal. In the event that you don't get 70%, in the event that you get less than 70%, you do not qualify to go to the stage where your financial proposals is evaluated, and therefore that's where your journey ends with us in terms of this particular tender. Again, you have to get at least 70% of the total mark that is allocated for the technical proposal. In the event that you don't get 70%, you do not advance further. In the event that you get 70% and above, then we look at your financial proposal. And finally, in terms of making a decision, excuse me. Finally, in terms of making a decision, we tend to look at your financial proposal and your technical score. All right, any questions about that? Any questions? If not, I'll move on. All right. And again, please pay attention to everything. Like, say, for example, like we said here, it is valid for a minimum of, right? These are very important. And it's also good that, say, for example, there's based on the components in terms of where you're submitting and so on, make sure that if you have 7 components, you put a price for this all 7. Don't just put one lump sum. The reason why is this is that sometimes when you're very close together in terms of scoring and so on, and we now have to make a determination, we tend to look at how each component is priced. So it's important that you pay attention to this. All right. It's for your advantage when it comes to an evaluation. Any questions? If not, I'll continue. All right. This speaks a little bit about the evaluation process. And normally what we'll do in terms of transparency, if there is information or about a process, what we try to do, even though one person put the question, we try to share the question and the answer, because there's a possibility that others may also be encountering the same problem. All right?
Yes, and Larry, excuse if I can just interject as much as possible. I would like to say that they must use the e-tender platform to submit the questions. That is the only way that would ensure transparency, and that all of the other persons who would have qualified and have purchased the package, who are qualified to partake in this tender, they would also see the questions and the answer. All right, so I would like to encourage you to use the e-tenders question feature for this tender. You would see it as well in the instruction manual for any question that you may have relating to this tender. Thank you.
All right. All right. Like I said, try to follow the instructions as much as possible. Do not allow the technology to scare you, because it's not that frightening, right? It may be new for some of you, but it is very easy to follow. All right. And like I said, if you have any questions, raise them now. You have until the 7th. Kalisha will provide additional information in terms of, how to use the platform. And again, all questions, as Kalisha just said, we try to encourage you to submit your questions via the platform. All right. This speaks about the awarding process after the evaluation and everything else, right? Again, the force majeure, again, in the actual contract, we'll go more into details, but we try to speak about, say, for example, for some reason, if you cannot perform the contract well enough, besides these other factors here, we'll try to be as very, very clear in the contract in terms of whoever is successful and we have to engage them, all these things will be done within the contract, right? Right, this is important as well too. Again, this speaks about the format in terms of we try to make it standard so that when we judge in, it's everybody pays attention. And this is important that you pay attention, right? It's important that you pay attention to all of this. Make sure and provide all the details, because this is something where people fall long, all right? They miss out a lot of stuff. Please read over the requirement at least 3 times. It's important. Please provide the information that is asked for. HSSC is very important for us as well too, because like I said, you're operating in a high space. You're looking with electrical components as well too. So these are very important. We want to make sure that you're safe and that we are safe at the same time. Right? This speaks about, this demonstrates that you have the ability in terms of that you're telling us how you're actually going to do the work. This tells us about your safety procedures. Your organizational structure and personal experience tells us about your manpower, tells us how you're organized. If you had similar experience in doing this, because we just don't want to say that you created a company just to get a contract. We want to make sure that it's not just about creating a company, that you have in the way how your information is flowed, in terms of instruction is flowed, in terms that you have people who know about the system itself, and not only that, you have experience in doing similar work. It's very important. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the quality of work that you put down is not, you're not experimenting on us. You have done this before, you have the manpower, you have the experience and the tools to support what you say you're going to do. Right? This speaks, say, for example, Show us, let's talk about experience. Show us we have a letter of award, a purchase order to do the stuff. All these different things are important, right? Tell us that you have the equipment. This is important because we want to make sure that, say, for example, when we say that a light goes out, that you have access to the equipment to do the work that you're doing, right? This tells us as well too that, say, for example, that you provide fair employment opportunities and so on, that you're a registered company, that you pay taxes and so on. All right. This is important because somebody had asked this question before. Everything has to be done in Trinidad and Tobago dollars. All right. All right. Go down further. All right. So this speaks about the categories here, how the marks are located. All right. You see a breakdown. Further breakdown again. All right. Speaks about what we're looking for. Organization, company profile, your organizational chart, you have your key personnel, people who can do the work. All this is listed here. Again, all of this. Again, it speaks about how stuff are done, all right? All right. Any questions at this time? Any questions about the document?
No.
All right. All right. Because it's a recording, Kalisha will provide an access. Kalisha, how soon we can make the recording available for those who are interested in getting a copy of it? Well, to everybody.
Right. So I think as you created the you started the recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it will come to you once it's complete. You can forward it to me, and I would send it to the group.
Okay, all right, no problem. We could do that. So at this time, if there are no questions, I would like to say thank you for showing an interest in this tender. Like I said, don't let the technology scare you in terms of the platform that we're using to collect documentation for an evaluation and a selection of the successful bidder. A lot of people would have applied, which means that there's great interest in terms of, providing what we are asking for. All right, so it's entirely up to you because we have taken the time to explain the steps. The document is there. What'll be nice is that, that you go over this recording with the document in your hand, right, to get yourself familiar. And again, please pay attention to what the document is asking for, especially in terms of the requirements and in terms of what you have to submit. All right, so if there's no more questions.
I have one question before we go.
All right.
Based on the statement of work, the first aspect is the acquire and install the 60 retrofit kits for existing fixtures, right?
Right.
So that's basically for the fixtures that are not working to come and retrofit it and bring it back operational.
Right. Yes.
The second part is to provide additional retrofit kits for 80 solar street lights. So these are new installs.
Right. No, there are a total of 80 street lights, right? 80.
Right.
So the 60 we're talking of from there is from that 80. So which means that there'll be 20 that will probably be working.
Yeah, I think you know past it there. Above this, right above this.
Right. So there's a total of 80 street lights. So from that 80, 60 not working.
Okay. And the other 20 will be new ones?
Well, like I said, is like this. We don't want to say, for example, we have 20 working already, right? 20 already working, right?
Yes.
So you're required to maintain all 80, but you have to retrofit 60 out of the 80. So you may have a possibility of 20 working, 20 the original working.
Okay,
right?
no problem. Yeah, understood.
Okay, I trying to wrap my head around that again, right? So item 2, where Mr. Ramrata and Richard was saying, you need additional retrofit for pricing purposes. They say provide additional retrofit kits as required to support a system of 80 solar street lamps. So what quantity do you want us?
Right. So this is say, for example, does it provide additional retrofit as required to support a system? Right. So again, in your proposal, because you now have to think it out, right? Does it mean that you buy 80 and that you're going to use 60 for sure, and therefore there's a possibility based on you look at the system, is it easy to get parts for the existing system, right? If you think that it's easy to get parts for the existing system, well, I'm just going to provide 60 because I could get parts for the 20 that's not working, right? That could probably be the strategy that you're using. But if you do your investigation and say, well, I looked at the system and it doesn't have any parts for it, you know what I can do? I buy an 80 because I'm sure I'm going to use 60 and the 20 I will, give it to them and and I'll use as needed. And that may be the strategy you want to use. So you have to think about the strategy based on the system itself.
Okay, but based on the strategy, it can have a little biasness when it comes to the financial aspect, because someone can bid, just for using layman's term, $10 for the 60, and someone can bid $20 to use the 80.
Right. So what I'm saying is that based on your strategy, you state your assumptions, right?
Okay,
You state your assumptions and why you're going down this route. Again, when we're doing those things, these are the things that we will take into consideration based on the strategy that you have put forward.
Okay, understood. Okay, no problem.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other question? Well, if not, we can conclude the meeting. Like I said, look at, again, read over the document, the video. Sorry, this recording will be made available to everybody who have participated today. All right. If there are any addition, you have until October 7th to ask any question, and you have October 14th by which to do your submission. All right. And there's a two-part in terms of how you do your stuff. Everything has to be done online through our e-tender platform. We're using a 2-envelope system, which means that the technical proposal is done separately from your financial proposal. The technical proposal is evaluated first. In order for you to move to the next, you must get 70% and above for us to do your financial evaluation. If you get less than 70%, that's where you come to a stop in the tendering process. Any question?
No.
All right. If not, I would like to thank everybody for showing an interest. Like take your time in terms of who we are here in Tobago, us being the Eco-Industrial Development Company of Tobago. And like I said, whoever is successful, we like to forge a very good relationship in terms of a win-win for the relationship. Because at the end of the day, you are going to help us create support the value proposition that we are creating for our tenants and other stakeholders. So again, thank you. Be safe. And like I said, any questions, you can direct them to us via the procurement officer. All right. Again, thank you. And I'll now.
Thank you very much.
Now the meeting now comes to a close. So again, thank you. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Thank you.